Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 1 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now, we do want to again run a few tests before we do this. We have unfortunately been having some technical issues with the sound aspect of the First Alert Desk so far today, and we do again have, of course, your full forecast we do want to get to, but now we're going to run a if you can. Yep, does look like we can hear. This is mic 2 for our engineers who are listening. And now we are back on mic 1 again. Mic 1 again. Okay, so again we have mic 2, check. And you know what? Mic 2 looks like it's working. We're going to go back to mic 1. All right, testing done. Let's get down to, of course, the weather forecast. That's what everybody is concerned about today, and rightly so. It's a First Alert weather day today. We've got air temperatures that are going to be dropping this afternoon, and as moisture rolls in, that is going to lead to the potential for some to pick up some snowflakes. Not just snowflakes, but potentially some snow accumulations for select counties. Not looking at widespread snow across eastern North Carolina today, but we are looking at a few areas that could certainly pick up some snow accumulations, and I know this time of year that certainly puts smiles on people's faces. Now, Gail Etheridge, I can hear you. Thank you so much, Gail. Appreciate you. Thank you. It's hard again to get a little support, but again, knowing that you guys can hear me makes me feel good. Anyways, let's get back to your forecast. Here's what we've got currently going on across Virginia and the Carolinas. You can see Virginia very much enjoying a full snow day today, at least for all areas except for those watching around Norfolk and Virginia Beach. So that's kind of the two spots in Virginia right now that are seeing rain instead of snow. Now, moving through the next several hours, let's zoom the picture in a little bit closer onto eastern North Carolina, and you can see that we are starting to see, at least radar is picking up on some snowflakes coming down across Raleigh and Rocky Mount. Nash County getting in the mix a bit right now as far as snow flurries go. The question is, are those snowflakes that right now are falling, at least in the upper levels of the atmosphere at Rocky Mount, are they actually reaching the ground? Because this is important to know. Whenever we're talking again, actually, let's do this. We'll zoom it in. Hello. Whenever we get up towards around Rocky Mount, we really got 3 radar sections or radar sites that kind of triangulate the rain across eastern North Carolina. We've got one in Morehead City, one in Cary, and then one in Wakefield, Virginia. Right now, the area you're seeing across Nash County and Halifax County and even Edgecombe County kind of getting in the mix there, they kind of fall within the blend point of all of those radar sites. And that usually means that the radar beams that are shooting through those clouds and through that precipitation is actually quite a bit higher than the radar beams shoot across the rain that, say, comes across Carteret County or rolls across Cary. So there is, again, more of an upper level air aspect to that reading you're seeing there with that snow. I'm going to get rid of my face here and you guys can see again that snow across Nash County. That's mid to upper levels of the atmosphere just because of the position of where that is in relation to those radar sites. Now that I've mentioned that, we can get excited again about the potential that more of that green you're seeing across I-95 is going to be turning into some snowflakes. Now, here is a look at what models are showing us here as we make our way through not only this afternoon, but through tonight. I think that's when we're going to experience the best opportunity for snowfall coming down is overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, because even though we'll see the most moisture roll through coming up this evening, the cold air is going to trail a lot of that moisture. Now, it will mix in with some, but it'll happen along the backside of the system. So right as the bulk of the system is pulling away from eastern North Carolina is when we'll get that greater transition and the greater opportunity for those snowflakes to start to fall down. So I would say between 6, 7, 8, 9 p.m., those of you watching on the western side of Highway 17 have a decent shot of seeing, again, some snowflakes mix in with your rain. Obviously, the farther north north you go in those areas, the better opportunity you have again for more flakes and potential for possibly picking up some accumulations, which we'll get to your accumulation map coming up in just a few moments. But everything is going to be thinning out as we make our way towards midnight and then more so towards the sunrise hour of Tuesday morning. By the time we get to sunrise on Tuesday, we are looking at mostly dry conditions across eastern North Carolina, but more importantly, air temperatures at this point will be down well below freezing. Overnight lows tonight in the mid-20s mean that anything that's left over on the roads, whether it takes the form of snow, sleet, slush, or just water, it's going to freeze on the roads, and it's going to freeze on the bridges as well. So if you are heading out the door early tomorrow morning, understand that road conditions may be rough, especially for those secondary roads that don't get the kind of attention they need from DOT crews. Now, we did check in with Amarachi Uche earlier today about DOT crews and their preparations. They were up again around the Hertford County area, getting ready to head out and start brining those roads. But with the rain showers coming in ahead of the potential for snowfall, the brining again, it can only be so effective, because once you have moisture, once you have water hitting that brine, it takes it off the roads and kind of washes it down into the stormwater drain. So don't want to get too crazy with the brine early on. You want to hit it at that sweet point when everything is starting to transition. Now, for those of you wondering, okay, who has the best opportunity for snow? It's those of you watching closer to the Virginia line. But there will certainly be a few areas that pick up around 1 to 2 inches of snow across Nash, Martin, Edgecombe, and Bertie counties and points northward, Halifax, Northampton, Hertford, Gates, you guys also in the mix there. But the rest of eastern North Carolina is not really looking like, again, a widespread snow event. For those of you watching on the eastern side of Highway 17, plan on more of a cold rain event with a little bit of a snowy end to the rainy forecast. But air temperatures right now along the coast significantly warmer, and that's going to make it more difficult for you guys to see some of those flakes come down, or more so for those flakes to actually form. Now, everything again dries out as we head into your Tuesday morning. Accumulations of up to 2 inches are possible, but it's really, I think, for me, what I've been telling my family, it's Tuesday morning that I'm most concerned about, because road conditions, again, are going to be rough. We've got rain showers coming in ahead of the temperature drop and ahead of the potential for snowfall. So freezing on the roads is going to be an issue, particularly around bridges that cool off quite a bit faster than the roads do. So if you're doing any driving tonight or know anybody who is around 10, 11, and midnight tonight, let them know that, again, those signs that we all see, the bridge ices before roads, those are going to be in play tonight. Pay attention to those. Those are going to be serious, because air temperatures will be dropping fairly quickly, and knowing that bridges, again, cool off significantly faster than roads do, would not shock me if, again, we had significant icing on some of our, well, maybe not significant, but we will have icing on some of the secondary bridges around eastern North Carolina. Not just bridges, overpasses. There's quite a few of them across eastern North Carolina. Take it easy on the roads when you are driving. Now, current air temperatures, this arguably is just as important as your radar picture today. Note areas on the eastern side of 17, significantly warmer. Western side of 17, you're looking at more of the low to mid 40s. Once you get to 17, mid to upper 40s, and east of 17, upper 40s, more so low 50s. 50 degrees in New Bern, 51 in Swan Quarter, Oriental, Beaufort, 53 in Stumpy Point. There is certainly heat around the water, which is why, again, we have really limited our snowfall expectations for those of you watching on the eastern side of Highway 17. But a northeasterly breeze will continue to bring in that colder air through the afternoon, and with the rain showers coming down at a fairly healthy rate, that will help drive air temperatures down as that rain falls. The rain, as it comes down, again, it it brings down a lot of that cooler air from the upper levels of the atmosphere. So while you may think that, okay, well, it's falling as rain, and that raindrop then, that means because it's a raindrop, it's warmer than 32 degrees. It will warm everything up as it hits the ground. Not always necessarily the case. It can, again, cool things down. And with that airflow coming down from the upper levels of the atmosphere down to ground level, that will aid in that cooling trend and drive our air temperatures down below freezing at a little bit of a faster rate. Here's what we've got coming up later on this evening. I think most of eastern North Carolina, at least most inland areas, I should say, are going to be dropping below freezing between around really 4 p.m. for those of you watching closer to the Virginia line, all the way to around 8 p.m. for those of you watching a little bit further south. But everyone, again, will be experiencing freezing conditions overnight tonight, and with the moisture again sticking around, that is something we'll continue to keep an eye on, because tomorrow morning, starting out the day in the upper 20s, it's going to be cold out there, but again, more importantly, it could be icy out there. 34 degrees by 11 means we got to wait several hours before we can finally say, all right, we're warmer than freezing. Anything that is still frozen on the roads is now actually starting to melt. That melt will continue as we head towards 1, 2, 3, 4 p.m. in the afternoon. I don't think we'll see anything left over coming up from Tuesday into Wednesday that would see that icing trend continue. Yeah, overnight lows Tuesday night into Wednesday morning are below freezing, but not nearly as cold as what we're going to see later on tonight. And then tomorrow, again, we stick with the sunshine. We actually warm up. Well, not tomorrow. We warm up from Tuesday into Wednesday. And even though we stay shy of our seasonal average, 53 degrees will be significantly warmer than, again, what we're going to be experiencing here over the next, really, 48 hours. Now, that is your weather forecast. Oh, no, I do want to say one more thing. One more thing about that. Well, again, you do see, again, air temperatures and really fairly mild conditions, at least for December, sticking with us for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of really this week and upcoming weekend. Coming up next week, we've got another round of very cold air on the way. That means with another round of rain showers, we could be talking about another round of snowfall potentially coming up over the middle of next week. Something I at least want to first alert you to, keep your eyes on. Next week, again, is going to be just as cold, if not a little bit colder than this week. And if we can get any moisture mixing in, we could be talking again about another round of snow as we get closer to Christmas. Always, 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 I hope for a white, snowy Christmas this year. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but knocking on wood, this year I think we might have a better opportunity than in years past. Traditionally, we only have about a 1% chance of really getting a white Christmas. Who knows? The way this year is going, things are looking like it may end up that way. Fingers crossed. Anyways, let's get to some of the news that we've been following in the newsroom today. We've got, again, news out of ECU, where Professor Heidi Bonner has received a real nice recognition from Governor Josh Stein. The university announced that the governor has picked Dr. Heidi Bonner to serve on the North Carolina Sentencing and Policy Advisory Commission. Along with being a professor, Dr. Bonner is the Criminal Justice and Criminology Department Chair at ECU. She said, quote, "I'm honored to be appointed to this commission and excited to collaborate with stakeholders all from across the criminal justice system," end quote. Now, the commission was created in 1990 as an independent advisory body for the North Carolina General Assembly, according to a news release from the university. Members track legislation, offer policy recommendations, and manage correctional resources, according to the release. Now, all academic members are recommended by the UNC system president and chosen by the governor. Now, Bonner's term would last 2 years as an academic member. She will attend the commission's first of 4 yearly meetings in Friday in Raleigh. Huge congratulations to Dr. Bonner. And now we want to turn our attention to national stage, where more fallout from The Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and his signal chats continue to come out. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez has more from Washington.
Overnight, President Trump on the red carpet, hosting the Kennedy Center honors here in Washington. While on Capitol Hill, the scrutiny on those controversial airstrikes in the Caribbean intensifies.
That all of these strikes are unlawful. They're a form of extrajudicial killing.
Congress investigating that controversial double-tap strike in early September that killed 11 people, including 2 survivors who lived through the initial attack. Lawmakers who saw video of that second strike behind closed doors pushing for its release. While Democrats say the video shows an attack on defenseless survivors, Republicans say they saw something different.
It looked at one point like they were trying to flip the boat back over, presumably to rescue its cargo and continue their mission.
Despite the president last week signaling he'd be willing to publicly release the video,
whatever they have, we'd certainly release, no problem.
Hegseth this weekend was non-committal.
Whatever we were to decide to release, we'd have to be very responsible about. So we're reviewing that right now.
And defended the strike.
From what I understood then and what I understand now, I fully support that strike. I would have made the same call myself.
Admiral Frank Bradley, who says he ordered the follow-up strike after consulting with a military attorney, told lawmakers in closed-door testimony the boat was traveling from Venezuela to Suriname, another country in South America, and that the drugs were bound for Europe or Africa, not the U.S. That's according to an official and a person familiar with last week's briefing. The sources also said military aircraft overhead spotted the 2 survivors waving their arms. Despite Democrats arguing their killing was a war crime, a defiant Hegseth pledging more attacks.
We will keep killing them so long as they are poisoning our people with narcotics.
As American troops arrive in Puerto Rico for training. And it all comes as President Trump has said he might target drug smugglers by land, not just in Venezuela, but in other countries too.
We're going to start that same process on land because we know every route, we know every house, we know where they live.
And again, that was Gabe Gutierrez reporting. That's all we have time for today's 1 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We will be back with more news and weather coming up at 2 o'clock, and hopefully I'm going to be joined by Russell James, and we can have a little bit more of an in-depth discussion on exactly what we are seeing with this incoming system and how we may be seeing again more of this cold weather as we head into next week. More of that is coming up at 2 o'clock. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Monday. We'll see you back here coming up in just under an hour.